big fucking red circle under meters. I'll tell you something, that it really puts things in perspective when you have that.
Yeah. Awesome.
How's it going? How's it going? Everyone, G Freaks and Werewolf Fanatics, I would like to welcome everyone to the very first one-on-one live stream series. And going and stepping into the ring with me, round one, volume one, is the heavy metal enthusiast, the werewolf specialist, the metal tavern master, DJ Anubis. Yep. Praise. And as he goes one-on-one with the king of Sting, the Sci-Fi Sentry, the founder of the Sci-Fi Society.
He's the man. He's the man.
But besides that, in all realness, I'm glad and honored to have my brother DJ Anubis on my very first one-on-one live stream series. And as you guys saw and have seen the thumbnail, we will be reviewing and covering the 2002 action horror film Dog Soldiers. And I gotta say, man, again, I'm gonna thank my brother DJ Anubis for recommending this. I've always heard about it. Everybody always talked about it, and I was always like, what's Dog Soldiers? And you gotta do it. You gotta do it, Anubis. Come on. When I first said I'd never seen Dog Soldiers, well, what did you do, bro?
Really? Come on, you're killing me. Small.
You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. But no, yeah, guys. But yes. So I wanted to do something different, and I wanted to, expand my horizons as far as being a content creator. And I'm always gonna keep it real. Me and Anubis and a lot of the people in Sci-Fi Society and Metal Tavern we're very raw, very real. We're not very flashy, and we like it that way. We like to have our own style. We like to have just our own ways of playing to the people who do watch and our subscribers, which is mine and not very few because I only got like 195. But I'm not on Anubis level, not yet. But I'll soon get there.
Man, are out of you get like 300, 400 views. That's some good shit right there, dude. Like your content quality. We just like to be in the grind. We're in the underground, so we like to keep it real.
Yes, bro. We always keep it underground, bro. I don't mind. Hey, being more underground means less copyright bullshit, and I don't deal with none of that stuff. But no, yeah, man. But yeah, brother. So we're gonna cover, guys, as you heard, we're gonna cover Dog Soldiers 2002, and of course, first, as this series progresses, I'm going to ask my brother some questions and get more in-depth with him on how he got into werewolf films and horror in general. And I want to hear it from the beginning, bro. This is first one-on-one with the Sci-Fi Sentry, and I want to get deeper. I want to make that deep dive with my brother, DJ Anubis, as I will with future guests that I do have down the line. But I really wanted to get in-depth, man, with you and tell me how it all started, bro, as far as everything horror, the genre of werewolves, everything.
Well, it's interesting because, I basically, even though I consider myself an 80s kid as far as my teens, I mean, I was born in 70, but during the 70s, you had a lot of, really crazy grindhouse films and horror stuff. And so as a kid, I remember obviously I had this babysitter back then. She used to take me to the drive-in. I saw Jaws at age 5. I begged her to take me, and she's like, "You're gonna have nightmares." I'm like, "No, I won't." Guess what? I had nightmares. But I remember just at the time, just clips of things because I was young, so like sometimes I'd be at the drive-in with her to be double feature, so I'd probably fall asleep. But I remember waking up occasionally, and I remember seeing clips of like Carrie or the Who's Tommy, these stuff like this, and so in my mind, I kind of think, oh, is that part of that movie or this movie? And eventually I'd go back and say, oh, okay, I've seen this, but it just had it misplaced at the time because I was so young. But horror in generally, man, it just always kind of stuck with me. I think people in general like to be scared on some level. That's why we go to horror films, no matter if it's modern horror, older horror. I mean, obviously I'm more old school with that, but we like to be scared. And I like very different types of horror films, but I think for whatever reason, when I first saw, there was a show that used to come on one of the networks, like early 80s. I think it was called The Big Chill Theater or something like that. And they used to use the song "Time" by Pink Floyd while they were playing clips, and I remember one of them was, of course, American Werewolf in London, where the transformation. And I'm like, "Ooh, that looks like eerie as hell." And so that
Yeah.
kind of like piqued my interest with that movie and werewolves. And then, of course, I saw The Howling, which scared the shit out of me, even at age 12. Still gives me the willies a little bit, just because the effects are so good, the atmosphere, and I get so intent and into the movies I watch. I'm all in. So
That's what she said.
Exactamundo. But yeah, that was really what kicked off my love of werewolves. And I kept watching werewolf films. Like The Howling would have a bunch of sequels. Some were really bad. Most of them were pretty bad. But Fi was pretty good. And really from there, the next one that would be even remotely decent in terms of me liking the effects and everything else was Bad Moon. I think that was like 96 or 97.
Yeah.
And then it was, of course, until 2002, Dog Soldiers came out. And I think I saw this for the first time on the Sci-Fi channel.
Oh, yeah.
No relation to Sentry here, but I think that's where that first came. And I think I saw Ginger Snaps on that channel as well. So when Dog Soldiers appeared on there, and I was like watching, I was like, dude, I have to have this on DVD. I have to get it. Like, I just have to. And I did. So I have like both versions, like the original DVD version, and then I have the Blu-ray, which I bought later on. But directed by Neil Marshall, who went on to do The Descent, and he did that terrible Hellboy remake. A cast, we kind of talked about it behind the scenes a little bit. You have Sean Pertwee, who plays Wells or Sarge, and he is another great. You mentioned Event Horizon is another film he's in. I like him in Equilibrium with Christian Bale. Kevin McKidd, who plays Cooper, he's our main dude in this. Liam Cunningham plays Ryan, who's also in the latest movie, Last Voyage of Demeter. Emma Cleesby is Megan, and then I think you and I are going to come out of this with the same agreement that Darren Morfitt, who plays Spoon, is like the guy that steals this entire movie. Like, he is so good, so funny. But we're going to get into a lot of that. That's basically our setup with cast. And that's kind of how I got to where I am with Werewolves. And I still am searching for another one to match Dog Soldiers, American Wolf of London, and The Howling. We have yet to get there.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. Hey, shout out to our brother, freaking Kaiju brother and fellow horror fanatic, Kevin Lambert from the Entertainment Headquarters. And yeah, always love the support, man. Kevin the people from the Metal Tavern, the entertainment headquarters, the Sci-Fi Society, we're all pretty much one. And we all may have different names or different styles as our channel, but we're all just one crew, man. We all love to represent. We all support our channels. We support each other. That's the best part of it. But yeah, Brad. But back to what you're saying, man. The Howling. That's your top three.
Yep.
That's your top three. Then, oh, dude, like the Howling, bro. I'll just say this, man, because that was actually two questions in one that I was gonna ask you, and that was cool. And right now, before we get to the actual review, so your top three were Dog Soldiers, The Howling, and Bad Moon.
Well, actually,
A Werewolf.
if we're gonna do top five, it's The Howling, American Werewolf of London, Dog Soldiers comes in third, Bad Moon, and then it's really kind of like either Ginger Snaps or even Silver Bullet kind of lands around five.
Yeah, so Silver Bullet is up there, and it's one of my favorites too. That's the one with Corey Haim, right? And Gary Busey. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Oh, dude. Yeah.
Crazy.
Jesus. The nostalgia. Well, even then, bro. Even then, he still looked crazy. I don't care what anybody says. He was still look crazy, man. But yeah. So okay, just one last question before we get started, man. And I'm pretty sure you gotta like this question. How, even since the very first time you saw it, how, and tell me about the lasting impact Dog Soldiers has had on you.
The last impact is basically one, again, practical effects. You just don't see it much anymore. And even though you don't see any really the transformations, except for a few things here and there before they go from human to the wolf, it's not as extravagant as like American Werewolf of London or The Howling. But as far as like the suits and everything else, like they stuck with the real practical effects with that, and you just don't see it like anymore. And then the other part of it is you mentioned it about how this movie is like a cross between horror and action, because most times you've got werewolves that are just hunting innocent victims, but in this case, our platoon is innocent, but like they can fight back. You know, they're built to be soldiers, and so there's this ongoing war out in these woods in the Scottish Highlands, and so it's really action packed, and you know the corp and the quotes between the soldiers and the sort of mysterious Ryan behind it all, and of course Megan. There's a lot going on in this film, so it's more than just a horror film. It's a lot more going on in it than just that.
All right, brother. So yeah, that was the last question. So now let us get to the one-on-one review with the King of Sting. No, I'm just joking, man. Okay, so like I said, since this movie is really up there in you're probably your top five, man. Start it off, man. Start it off where we begin this review with Dog Soldiers.
Well, basically, the movie kicks off with this guy Cooper, played by Kevin McKidd, who's running from some soldiers. Now we don't. Well, actually, let me back up. It actually starts with a couple out in the woods, and you know, they're kind of sharing some coffee by the fire and everything, and she gives them this present, which is like a silver letter opener, boyfriend and girlfriend. Now, the interesting thing about this film, this is 2002 here. Now, later, we're quickly taken to their tent, and you know they're getting their groove on. Very reminiscent of the intro to Bad Moon, which also has a very similar scene going on in the beginning of that film. But anyway, they're getting their groove on, and all of a sudden they're having to look at the front of the tent because the zipper's sliding up.
Yeah.
And they're like freaking out. And then the next thing you know, something grabs her legs, pulls her out, and basically like chomps down on her, and blood splats everywhere. And we kind of get this last scene with the guy who's looking and hears like a roar before it goes to a different screen, which takes us, of course, to Cooper running from these soldiers, which apparently, according to the display on the screen when it's happening, is this Cooper running is happening 2 hours before that scene takes place with the couple. So finally they catch up with Cooper. They got a dog running after him. They get him, and so we really don't know what the plan is here. But then we're introduced to a guy named Ryan, played by Liam Cunningham, and these are special ops guys, and Cooper is basically trying to earn his way into the group of special ops guys. This is something big for him, so he's trying his best to win that job, which Ryan says, you know, you got it, but you are going to have to do one more thing because you kind of overlooked something in your final quest to join this group. And so Ryan wants Cooper to shoot the dog, which at this point, the dog is no threat. But Ryan wants him to do it just to say, hey, I need to make sure you're willing to go the distance to stay alive or whatever. And Cooper refuses. And so then, of course, Ryan takes care of business himself, which I understand Cooper wanting to punch him in the face. I'd punch him in the dick too. Like, you know, fuck that shit. You know, my dog was only doing the job, you know?
Fuck that guy.
Yeah. So, obviously, they kick Cooper back down. He's not going to get into the group. And then I think we're fast forwarding either 4 weeks or 4 months later. And I think it's 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And so Cooper is now leading another group of guys, soldiers, just regular soldiers. And they're basically, it's sort of like capture the flag in some ways. They've got yellow things on the end of their guns. They're blanks, so it's not live rounds here. And so they're basically trying to evade this other group from finding them. It's just like you have to go to these mountains and not get caught. And we see Ryan and his crew who are spying on them. Now, they're not even supposed to be part of the party, but they're there anyway. And I don't know, do you want to pick it up from there at all? You want me to keep going?
Yeah. No, keep going.
Okay. So Ryan has spotted them. He sees where they are, so they marked them where they're at, and they're kind of waiting around. They've got their campsite, but then all of a sudden we see Ryan with the binoculars at night vision, he hears things around him. But it's almost like he probably knows what they're looking for, what's out there. Like we don't really know, but he somehow kind of knows. And all of a sudden, he's attacked, and then we go flip back over to Cooper, and you had a scene where Wells Sarge was telling stories by a campfire because the platoon themselves, the other group, are kind of camped out for the evening before a cow jumps over. Sorry, go ahead.
No. They said they're a very tight knit group, even for British military. You could tell they're very tight knit. Like they don't just kind of sound like the weekend warriors like most people would think, you know. So, but yeah, they have a real tight knit connection. So that's good. And then that's the part when I opened up with the video, because I saw that that scene where he was talking about what happened to his friend that got blown to bits and shit, you know, and then talking about, you know, yeah, man, I see everything now with an open mind, bro. I don't just like think no. In other words, he used to think that nothing would ever happen, but once shit happened to him and to happen to his friend getting like blown up, you know, to pieces, you know, just gave the guys, look, man, I'm the sergeant, I'm the leader. I just want you guys to be very open-minded about your surroundings and everything. So, yeah, take it back, bro.
Yeah, so you made a good point, because I think a couple of the guys that served with Wells in Kuwait and stuff, because they brought that up. But they're also into football, like, you know, European football, soccer. So they talking about games and stuff that they're missing to be there. And then all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, this cow like jumps off a rock above them and lands, and like it's been shredded and bleeding, and freaks everybody out. And they're like, the fuck, how'd that happen? Like they just figured it got hurt and then ran.
Yeah.
So the next morning they get up and they start going, but Wells is very curious about what happened to this cow. Like he's like, this is really weird. So he's like, I'm just curious. Let's go follow this trail. And so they start backtracking a little bit. And then they end up coming across an encampment to which they discover when Ryan's there. Ryan had been hiding out, but he's hurt. they realize that he's there, and of course Cooper's like, I know this dickhead. This is Captain Ryan. So they're patching up Ryan, trying to keep him alive. Ryan keeps sputtering something about, there was only supposed to be one. There's only supposed to be one. And they're like not even knowing what the fuck he's talking about at this point, but they're getting ready to gear up and try to get out of there. And of course, Wells, knowing that this is more serious, is like they're picking up the weapons the special ops team had, because none of the rest of them are being found. They're not even around, just guts and shit. They're all over the place. And so they're packing up and they're getting all their stuff. They get the guns, they load up, and Wells is like, okay, it's a live drill. We're playing for real now. Watch your surroundings. And I think he sends one of the guys, I think his name's Camper, to go scout a little bit. And he says, we'll be following you. And this is when they start hearing and these creatures, because like it's kind of interesting about the way that this is shot. I'm just going to go on a side note here. The way that Dog Soldiers is shot for a good portion of the film, at least early on, is like it's not totally blackout night, so we kind of got like this foggish gray evening time, so you're able to see a lot of shit going on. So a lot of people might get confused and say, well, it doesn't make sense for the werewolves if they're only at night. And so it kind of works differently with these particular werewolves. Like, I think if it's gray, I think they could probably change it any time if they wanted to. Full moon certainly has a bigger effect on them, but I think they can change whatever they want. So that's probably the reason why we're getting a little bit of this like dusk looking thing where we can still see what's going on. And in some ways, you're kind of appreciative of that, because if it's too dark, then you don't see shit, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So they're making their way, and of course, Camper, he starts getting followed by something. He knows he can't really figure it out at first, but he starts running. Now, this poor guy,
oh yeah, dude, don't hear him. Oh
he's so scared that like he's running and he impales himself on a tree trunk. Yeah. And then of course to make things worse is we get a glimpse through his eyeball where this creature comes and just like swipes at him and takes him. It probably takes his head off. Like it's just that easy. And Wells is following him, and Wells comes and he finds like the remains and the guts, and then sees the body, and then he sees what's happening. He says, oh shit, what the fuck is this? It's like a werewolf or something. So he gets like slashed across his stomach, and you can just see his insides like falling out. And then Cooper catches up and shoots the werewolf, but these bullets only like phase them. It doesn't really kill them. It just pushes them back, and they kind of run around and come back.
Yeah.
So at this point, Cooper is like, and I have to say, just on a side note, if you want to see great chemistry between two actors, McKidd and Pertwee in this with Wells and Cooper are great. And I'll get to it later where they're inside the cabin, but Cooper shows up and he's basically trying to push Wells' innards back into his stomach. He's like, leave me be. Go, leave me to die. You can't help me. I'm like, yes, he can. I'm going to push this back in.
Get to the chopper. Get to the chopper, you idiot.
So, yeah, he kind of makeshifts Wells and gets him back on his feet as they're still running. And now they're all kind of cruising along the forest here which the Dog Soldiers are a wolf pack, and they're kind of like circling them and just kind of running with them on the outsides, but they're doing their best to keep them at bay. And then all of a sudden they come across like a dirt road or something. And our Range Rover stops and almost hits Spoon, and Spoon's like falling down. Like, don't kill me. I'm not going out this way, you know? And of course we're introduced to a woman named Megan. And we don't know what the fuck she's doing out there, but she piles everyone into the truck. She apparently knows they're out there because she's like, get in, you know. She kind of knows what's going on.
How convenient.
Right. Yeah. So they get in. Of course, one of them the werewolves hangs around the top of the truck, and they have to move on and brush them off or whatever. And they're driving down the road, and they end up coming across probably the only cabin within like 30 miles. Go figure. Worst place to be if you're going to be getting hunted by werewolves. You want to pick it up?
Yeah. No, thank you, man. I'll take it. Oh, I'm reading the comments here. Wanted to say what up to other people, other members from the Sci-Fi Society. Gojira851, thank you for stopping by. The Omni viewer, always a pleasure, and my boy, big sexy Jedi Granville, and yeah, man. I mean, yeah. Oh, and not only that, Kevin, you gotta let me know, man. Is it really a cabin where they stay at, or is it like a flat, or is it like a? Because I don't know how they call it in I guess in Scotland or England, but that's a bigger. It looks bigger than a cabin, but that's made out of like. It looks more like it's made out of freaking like stone or something like that.
Oh,
But I just want to.
yeah. Well, I thought I thought she mentioned it was like a cabin, but maybe not. I don't remember. But I mean,
it was pretty big.
It's a house. It's made out of stone and stuff, but it's got a base.
Yeah.
So it's not like
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask because since Kevin's on here, I wanted to say what do they call that? What kind of house? I know it's a house, but what do they call them in England or in Scotland? In other words, so okay, yeah. So getting back to it, yeah. So they go to this place, and how convenient Megan ends up, literally like knowing they're gonna be there, and they're all in a panic. They're still like, trying to comprehend what the hell's going on. Like, what the shit? What were we just attacked by? And of course, they're werewolves, but these werewolves are large and limber and slim, tall, like very, very, very powerful. If they could cut. I mean, I don't know if the top of that rover was just pure cloth, or if it was cotton or whatever. Not cotton, but like
for all you know, right now I'm just rewatching the film through Sci-Fi's narration, so I'm eating some popcorn.
Yeah, there you go. No, but it was so they're there, and she takes them into that house.
Oh,
they're like,
Jerry's got it. Cottage. Yes, thank you.
There we go, a cottage. There we go. Thank you very much. And
that's why we have you guys around.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was they're there, and they're comprehending that they're being attacked, but still they're like, they ask her, is this her place? It's like, no, this is another family's place or whatever. Okay, well, how crazy it is that she kind of knows this family too, but it's like they're trying to regroup. The Sarge Wells is pretty freaking badly, literally maimed. Like I don't even know how he didn't die already just going there, but it was they're regrouping. They even take that sorry ass piece of shit. Was it Ryan with them? And they see that the werewolves are even trying to still attack them while they're getting to this cottage, and they don't have any other choice but say, okay, let's go. What's the closest? What's the next town or whatever? 50 miles. Like, hey, fuck it, let's go. We might as well try it. It's better than just staying there. So they go back. First they have to go and make sure it's secure, right? So I think it's Cooper and Spoon. Cooper and Spoon they go out to make sure and everything everything's all right. So they go out and they're looking, freaking lights and everything. You see shadows of the wolves that are gigantic, and they're like once they put the light to the rover, it's like the whole fucking engine is ripped out, destroyed. Like the wolves are smart enough to know, okay, yeah, these motherfuckers, like, yeah, they ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere, motherfuckers. You ain't going nowhere. We gotta get our prime rib, spare rib. We're gonna get our what do you call it? Our fresh femur. Yep, sausages and femur, fresh femur and sausages. So we'll get yeah, man. But okay, so they have to regroup, go back into the cottage, and now they're like, oh shit, so what do we do? And then I can't believe Megan's like, that was my car. It's like, it's not a car. It's not a car.
Cooper's like, all right, well, that's no good, so we're just gonna blow that fucking thing up.
And I said, it's not a car, it's a goddamn freaking, it's a truck, it's a Range Rover, it's a SUV. Well, an SUV back then, but yeah, it was funny. It was a funny part, man. And then they have to take it. What's funny is that when Cooper goes back and starts talking to Megan, and they're all trying to trying to think about what's going on. freaking Wells is screaming in agony, bro. And everybody's like, "Is this guy all right? Is he all right?" He's like, and he even in the background while they're talking, he says, "Rah!" He's yelling and grunting, bro. And I'm like, it's hard not to laugh, man. I couldn't like, I was like, God, I could not help but laugh. But they're trying to take it, they're trying to make sure that he's all right. So I think it's at that point where they decide to take him up. Well, before they take him up, they start talking to Ryan and start telling, "Hey, Ryan, so what the fuck's going on, man? Like, what the hell is this and that going on?" And he's like keeping it zipped until the last, I think, towards the middle towards the end of the movie.
It should be noted that at this point, when they're in the cottage, because Ryan was in bad pain too. He was like passing out and all this stuff, and
yeah.
Now that they have to take Wells upstairs to the bedroom to treat his wounds, Ryan, it seems like he's normal, like he's not hurting, and he's just kind of sitting there, but he's not saying why, so there's no, it's like, he's just kind of, like you said, he's got his mouth closed, but he's not like writhing in pain like he was earlier. So we're like, and then of course, Wells is upstairs and Megan and Cooper are trying to treat his wounds. So probably one of the more entertaining scenes in the movie, they're giving Wells some alcohol to drink also to sterilize the wound, as they basically tape him with super glue and shit. Cooper's like, explained that this stuff comes in handy for wounds when you're out in war. Yep. And so Wells is getting like drunk as shit, and he's like, "Is it my birthday?" He's like, "I love you, man. You don't understand. I love you, Coop. I just love you, man. This guy, he's just going nuts." And then
he's my best mate. He's my best mate. I love him. I love him. He's my best mate. He's my best mate.
And then
he wanted to bang my sister.
Megan's like, "Well, we got to knock him out for this." And then so Wells is like, "Well, then hit me." And then like Cooper smacks him, and then he's like, "Oh, come on, you pussy." And he's like, whap, knocks him the fuck out. So they get him knocked out and they get him taped up and glued up and all that stuff. But that scene is just, and that talks about what I was talking about, the chemistry between McKidd and Pertwee, because they just work so well together. Like, it's flawless acting there, and even more as the movie goes, it just gets better and better.
Yeah.
So then they realize they gotta like stay in the house, like, and they're gonna try and make it to sunrise. And there's some weird things about the house they're in. The family's not there. There's like a photo of a family, but there's no one there. The food was left on the table they were eating, which the soldiers start eating, and Megan's like, "That's kind of rude." He's like, "Look, I'm starving. There ain't no one here. I'm eating this." He's just eating it. So they just start trying to find weapons they can use to defend off, because the wolves are still trying to break into the house. Like, they're like, arms to the door and stuff. So they're pushing cabinets in front of windows and locking shit up. And there is a cool scene where one guy's pulling out like these like turkey shears or something that you would cut a turkey with. And then Spoon's like, "I'm solved." He's got his gun. He's like, "I'm good. I don't need anything else." Let me see. Oh yeah. So, okay. So then they're like, Megan tells them that, well, she thinks the family has another rover in the garage, which is a building outside by the house. It's like a shed. And of course, she didn't fail to mention this before when she was crying about her own rover. But, see, I know you will get to it, but the film is one of the few werewolves that has a female that turns or about to turn into. Yeah. So she tells them that there's one out there that could probably hot wired, and so but they need a diversion for the wolves. That the guy that knows how to hot wire can get out there and
send out Spoon.
So they all just kind of turn around. It's like, well, who's going to be the distraction? They just all turn, and Spoon's in, and he's like, "What?" So Mr. Loudmouth, and I mean, this guy, Darren Morfitt, is the guy who plays Spoon, and he's so good. I have to see what else he's been in, but his job of playing Spoon was so excellent. He was funny, and just entertaining all the way around. So he jumps out the top roof window. He's out there, and now he's got a flare, and he's like, "Come on, you beauties, come and get your dinner." And so as they start chasing around, he gets back to the house, and while that's happening, our guy going to the rover gets in there. However, the wolves are not stupid, and so he's in there and he's doing his thing, and then he just like this breath just like goes by his head in the truck in the cab there, and he's like, "You're behind me, aren't you?" He's just here just growling. And he tries to like go. And credit to the soldiers, man. None of them really went out as pussies. He turned around. And he was like, "I'm going to come get you with my knife." And then, of course, he gets fucked up. I think he also sees like another guy that was with him getting chewed up in front of him as he turns the lights on, and that didn't go over well for that guy either. His head comes off and gets smacked up against the windshield. But that turned out to be.
I'll play that video, guys, before we end
in
the
case you
stream.
missed it, yeah. In case you missed it.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Dad. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it turns out a bust, and the wolves are waiting for him, and now we start getting into Ryan and his little mysteriousness about what's going on. So now they're interrogating him, and this Cooper is now catching on. He's like, you seem pretty good and sprite than you were about 2 hours ago. Let's take a look at that wound. He's like, I'd rather you not. And he says he does, and of course, the wound is healed. Ooh. So Megan, of course, is also curious about what's going on, and she's saying how she's been kind of like out there studying nature and just trying to get to know, and she'd seen or heard these creatures before, and she's got a little bit of mysteriousness about her, but we don't know quite her story yet. Let's see.
She's just that she's a zoologist. She says that she's a zoologist, and she heard the stories. She heard the stories about people disappearing and completely disappearing, like hikers, people being on themselves, trails, stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of what's going on like during this period is you got the wolves still trying to break in, so there's like this constant fighting to keep them out. Some guys are being killed like hanging by the door or stuff like that, but in the end, like when it comes to Ryan now, they start getting in a fight, and they're fighting, and Ryan like falls behind a table, and then all you hear is like grunting. He gets up, and he's got these yellow eyes. And so we know at this point he's starting to turn. Like we're finding out. Oh yeah, okay. So you've been bitten or scratched. You're gonna, unlike most where it's a bite, this scratch will make you a werewolf. So he starts turning, and then he ends up jumping out the window and getting away. So
while he got impaled by the sword.
Yeah, so they got him with a sword from behind, but he was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Runs out anyway. And this is the interesting thing about this is I didn't really realize till last night when I was watching the film again, even though I've seen it like a gazillion times. Just shows you there's always something new that you will discover. They realize, well, at first Megan's like, well, the wolves are pretty familiar with this area and they're familiar with this house, so they probably have their little lair or whatever out there in that garage. And so Cooper, wanting to trust her, is like, that's a good idea because that's where they killed the other guys. And so they're like, the plan is to now send the rover that they had. I forgot the guy did get out of the garage with the rover, but he died in front of the house because the wolf was in the back. So the rover is there in front of the house. So, but now their plan is to simply just put like I think it's like an air tank or something in the back, and then send it down to the little garage there and blow it up to try to kill their little lair. And so of course Wells, he's kind of like, well, what if she's wrong? What if she's wrong about this? Because they really don't know. And Cooper's like, well, we're gonna have to try something. Even if we get just some of them out of the way, let's just do this. So they pack it in there, send the rover down there, and of course it blows up, and everyone's like, yeah. And then guess what? I'll let Sci-Fi take it from here.
Yeah, that was just like, yeah, man. Hey, what's up, Jake? Thanks for showing up, brother. Thanks for showing up. Sorry about that. So they Cooper sends out and Sarge, they send out what they do is a last ditch effort to try to at least kill some of these lichens or werewolves. And I don't know why Coop was just so like, oh yeah, very trusting of Megan. And I'm like, well, I mean, I for once just something in the back of my mind when since I saw this first part of the movie. She did not sit very, like, there was something about her even since the beginning that I had a feeling about her. And this is where she just gets to that point where she's totally fucking flustered and frustrated and just like, you know what, you were my only way out, Cooper. Like, Cooper's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you were my only way out. I really wanted just you, but now everybody's gonna fucking die. And I'm like, oh shit. It's like, and it's that fucking time of the month. And I'm like, oh shit, dude. I'm like, what? And I'm like, right away, I was like, I fucking knew. I knew it. I knew this chick was, I knew she was freaking shady. I knew she was, she was kind of like, because it's all her family. It's her I think it's her family, people she knows. That whole family are the lichens. They're the werewolves. Like, they're the whole werewolves. And she was like the decoy or like prey kind of in a way, right?
I think, this is the thing that's a little weird about, and it's weird about in a couple of ways. This is where I discovered something more recently. So Megan turns to Cooper, and this is like, she wanted to get out of there. Now, where she's gonna go, and because she is a werewolf, where's she gonna go? Like, I don't know, but she apparently doesn't like the rest of the pack that much. She's more like a loner.
Yeah, a lone wolf.
So maybe, we don't really know, but maybe she's the one that kills. We didn't talk about it, but there have been rumors throughout the country that people disappear in those forests. And so Ryan and his special ops team was sent out there by the government to try to capture what they thought was a lone wolf. Hey, Trejo, wherever you are. So they try to capture the one creature. They use it obviously for military purposes. He just didn't realize there was going to be a pack of them. So the question is, like, at least on the side, was Megan the one killing the random people out there, or was it really the pack? Like, we don't really know who's the crazy here. But Megan informs Cooper that none of the werewolves were in the barn, and that she opened the back door downstairs to let them in because she's part of this group. Now, here's the thing. Which reinforces my idea that they can turn whenever they want to. Now, possibly she didn't turn because she doesn't like the rest of them, but she knows what they can do. Maybe because they are crazy. Like, again, it's whatever theory you want to go with who's doing what here. But she apparently holds a lot of water with the family. So obviously she's like, I'm a bitch, but I'm a real bitch. And like, you're going to find out because like the time's running out. No one else is going to get out of here. And she starts to turn, and Wells shoots her in the head. Now, at first, I for a long time, I thought, well, that really isn't going to do much, right? But then I kind of realized, after kind of thinking about it and reading up on it, if they're in human form, they can still die by regular bullets, which is interesting. Wow. I find that to be a very interesting thing. So she's dead. So she didn't get the full transformation. So Wells, and that probably leads to Wells saying, well, at least she's no longer miserable, or whatever it was he was saying to her about that. But as of course she's changing, the rest of them are coming up the staircase behind her, which is a great shot. If you ever seen the still from that, it's a wonderful shot. Because it's kind of foggy, and you got the hair and the ears and everything else going on. So she's dead, and now like the wolves are inside the house, and shit's about ready to get real. Everybody's fighting and running around the house. Of course, Wells is better by now. He knows he himself is healing up. He's like, I'm going to end up becoming one of these things. So when the time comes, you're going to have to fucking put me down. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So obviously, one by one, some of these other soldiers that are left are getting killed. I don't know if they're ever really killing any of them. I mean, they're obviously hurting them. And there's a great scene with Spoon in the kitchen.
Oh man,
He's basically fist fighting one of them, and you know he's holding his own, like he's
Hey,
smacking it
he's all,
around. Yeah, he's
he's
talking
all,
shit, and then
oh,
like
I
he
was
gets
so
bitch
good.
slapped a couple times, and
Oh, dude, I was laughing, dude, when I saw that. I was like, oh my god, dude. It's like, really, this guy's literally boxing with a werewolf, and I'm like, oh my god. It's like, gotta love this movie, gotta love it, man. Sorry, well, go ahead, go, keep going, keep going.
but obviously the numbers, there's like another couple that come into the kitchen with the other one, so now Spoon's really fucked, and it pins him against the wall.
I
And
remember what he said.
Spoon has the best line of the movie. And he says
God.
to the werewolf, I hope I give you the shits.
Oh, dude, I was laughing so hard. Like when a lot of these freaking, a lot of this part. I mean, it was a serious movie, but it brought in the comic relief at the best times. But
Yeah,
it was,
it's too bad. I wish we would have played like the international trailer for it, because I still have that on my original DVD, where it's like it has like a couple trailers, and the international one was so fun because it's like it has all these like quirks at the beginning and all the favorite scenes from the movie in there. And but yeah, this movie is fun. It has good comedic moments in it, and then of course it has the horror as well as like just a little bit of drama. And then so Spoon is gone. Obviously, Cooper and Wells are making their way around the house. They get locked in. Like at one point, it was really kind of cool. They get locked in like a bathroom or something, and like so Wells like says, "Mind your toes," and he shoots the floor, and then they pop through down to the bottom floor to get away from the wolves that are chasing them up into the bedroom. And finally, they get to the kitchen. And of course, they see Spoon's remains because the watch that Wells gave to Spoon earlier in the film was found, and there's blood all over the place. And they were really bummed. Like they're all like, "Man, fucking Spoon! They got Spoon! No!" So they're in the kitchen now, and now Wells is really starting to feel the change coming on, and he's like, it's time. It's time to get out of here and do this.
I
Like
just wanted to mention one thing before you get there, bro. I forgot this.
All right, all right.
It was crazy how Sam, the family dog, they never even touch the dog. Like they leave the dog alone.
Yep.
I just wanted to mention that, like that, because that you can tell that's their dog. That's the family. That's them. They're not gonna. They're not gonna. They're
Wait,
not gonna.
the dog. Well, yeah. You make a great point, because the dog does show up later with Ryan, so that's a good point.
Yeah, I just want to say. Okay, now go ahead. Keep going.
So the plan is now that Wells is gonna, turn on the oven with the gas and blow up the house. And there's like a cellar. So he's telling Cooper, like, you just need to go down there and survive. And I guess they found a camera along the way, and they were taking pictures as proof
Yeah.
of what was going on. And so Cooper doesn't really want to abandon him, but Wells is like, dude, trust me, you're gonna want to do this, because once I turn, it's not gonna be good. And so he agrees, and he goes down the cellar, and then the wolves start coming into the kitchen. And by now, Wells's eyes are yellow, and he's starting to turn, and he's turned the gas on, and he's like, I forget what he says, but it's like one of those one-liners. He's like, he takes something and he just jams it in, creating a spark, and the whole house just goes up, blows up. And so what's left now is just basically the rubble, and then the cellar, I guess, because it's encased in concrete and stuff, was still fine. And I guess the dog jumped down there with Cooper, so he's down there too. Yeah, Neil Marshall's good. Just we don't want to talk about that Hellboy remake, do we? Because
Man,
probably not
poor
all
guy.
his fault. They should have never rebooted it anyway. But The Descent was good though. Descent was a decent movie. But anyway, so we're now at sunrise, and it looks like the wolves are toast. They're all gone, blown to bitsies. And Cooper's down there, and he's finding that there's like all this stash and a few bodies. So this is probably where the lair was originally, just for them. I think the plan was Megan was probably locking them down there at night to feed on whatever they had, so that they weren't drawing too much attention to themselves every single night. So of course, the one occasion that there was like campers, they were unfortunately devoured. But I think that's where the lair was. So they find like all these knickknacks and backpacks and shit, and so clearly they were just hiding evidence of any kind of bodies and stuff that they were killing people out there with. So uh, we think, oh, end of the movie, we're pretty good now, right? That is until we find Ryan was down there too, and he's still got the sword in his fucking chest, coming protruding out. And so they start fighting back and forth, and there's actually a really cool scene that's very like intimidating, and that is there's a point where Ryan's grabbing Cooper and he's forcing the sword into his mouth, like so. It's like all you do is they get that one last push, man. And like it's like nuts. So, but before that, Cooper's able to find this like, or no, this is where the dog jumps in. So
yeah, Sam comes in.
Yeah. So Ryan's about to kill Cooper. It's almost a done deal here. So the dog jumps on Ryan's back, creating a distraction, getting away. Cooper kind of rolls around. He finds that silver letter opener from the earlier campers, and so he takes that, stabs Ryan. I guess what the silver does, again, we're never really, we're not really sure how much silver plays into the mythology of the werewolves in this film, but we do know it kind of weakens them. So, and I think that's sort of what the idea is here. So he stabs him with the silver, it kind of weakens him, and as Ryan tries to lunge at Cooper again, he shoots him and kills him.
Yeah.
And then at that point, everything's done. Cooper and the dog get out of the cellar and they start walking away. And then the credits roll. And then we have, of course, these photographs of what they were taking with the werewolves. And there is one funny thing they show towards the end in the credits is the newspaper, because I'm assuming Cooper was trying to inform the government and whoever would listen that there were werewolves, you know. They treated it like the National Enquirer, so they were like, "Werewolves ate my platoon," you know. So like, they were making a mockery of it, and it just didn't believe in like UFO stories and stuff. So basically, how the film ends, and it's just a great film. As Jedi was pointing to in his comment, you know, Neil Marshall's like throwing a lot of different things at you. It's horror, suspense, comedy. It's a great mixture. And I know to this day they keep saying they want to make a sequel, but please, for the love of God, don't.
No.
It doesn't need one. We're fine
No.
with it the way it is, because I know you're gonna fuck it up anyway. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
So,
no, absolutely.
What are your thoughts, sir? Your final thoughts on all that?
Oh man, it's a great film, man. Like I said, when you recommended it to me and I kept hearing about it and I saw it for myself and I bought it. I just said, you know what, I haven't even seen it yet, but I'm gonna buy it anyway. Because if you guys, like, if you tell me, Samurai told me, you told me about, even Walter had told me that it's a good film, you'll like it. I think you'll like it. So okay, so I just bought it and I told you, bro, when I bought it, even before I watched it, I remember I took a picture and I posted, I sent it to you. I said, look, I bought it. And you're like, good man. You're like, good man.
Yeah, because if you didn't, I was going to have to buy it for you.
Oh, no, but yeah, but there was a special that had the one that I got it was a DVD and the Blu-ray. So I was like, okay, cool. So yeah, man, I loved it, bro. I freaking love the film. I'm glad they added the dog, because the dog is kind of a throwback to Bad Moon.
Yeah.
And and it had a little thing. Even at one point, I don't know if you remember, Cooper had mentioned when they were still huddling up there that, remember, short control bursts. I'm thinking aliens.
Yeah.
And then of course the one that you had mentioned about I forgot what is it much. It was another throwback to another film, a werewolf film. To how was it, The Howling, or no, or was Silver? Or it was The Howling, when they were in the beginning of the movie where there was the two couple that were gonna smash, and was it that one?
What you're talking about at the beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Bad Moon. So that Bad Moon
Also
started
Bad
out
Moon.
similar way, yeah.
Okay,
But
yeah.
yeah,
So no,
that international trailer I was talking about, like one of the things they kind of like throw up on the screen is like, it's like Jaws and Aliens. So they mentioned Aliens as like a sort of reference as far as the action. So the short burst that you mentioned totally makes sense, with that. So
yeah. No, yeah, it was no. But as far as less thoughts, man, it's a great film. Action when action was needed. Uh, the comic relief was needed. Uh, Wells, or what's his name? The guy that played Wells.
oh,
Forgot
Sean
what was his.
Pertwee.
Yeah, that dude, bro, man. When he was freaking getting his wounds like closed up with the super glue, was like, that's my best mate. I love him. I love him. He wanted to bang my sister. Oh man,
Yeah.
it was like, oh dude, I was loving, dude. When he hit him, dude, he's like, nah, hit me. I'm like, oh dude, when he hit him, I laughed my ass off, dude. I was like, oh,
Hit me, you
I'm all,
pussy, hit me.
yeah, it's like, I was, you fucking pussy, hit me, boom, just hit, knocks him fuck out, dude. And that was a part like it went from serious to him doing that, and I was like, you gotta be fucking, it's insane, bro. That was just insane, dude. But it was overall great, like a great film, man. Thank you for the recommendation. Loved it. It's definitely in my top 10. And like I love they brought the aspect of Sam the dog, and I just loved it, bro. It had everything. It had everything. Even it didn't overdo it with the comic relief or the banter. But it is, to me, I could tell, like, if it's a cult favorite, just wait till years down the line, it's gonna become a cult favorite. I got it,
Do
like,
you
for
see
sure.
do you see the file I added all in your thing down there?
I just have it. It's another thing. Let me check. Hold on. It
Yeah.
says add to stage. Hold on. Let me add to stage. Hold on.
Explosive, brutal,
There you
and
go.
purely enjoyable horror debuts since The Evil Dead. Genuinely frightening. Jaws, Aliens, and Predator with a werewolf twist. Absolutely brilliant. Thrilling. Mind your tongue! Exciting. Scary.
I don't scare that easy.
And funny.
I'm sold.
A horror film with bite.
You what?
Sold! I'm in the bitch of a werewolf movie.
Oh wow.
Dog Soldiers. It'll blow your house down. One of the most
Now,
explosive.
If I would have saw that, that when it would have came out, I would have been like, oh man, I would have been a huge, like, okay, I want to buy this fucking movie. I want to buy it. And
Yeah, because
yeah,
the American trailer isn't near as fun as that one. That one, like, that's one of the two that show up in my original DVD. I don't know if it's on a Blu-ray. It might be, but that trailer, man, is just fire. Like, I love it. It's so fun. It shows a lot of the great scenes. It makes you interested in seeing it, and so like I just thought that'd be cool to show because it's so fun, and it mentions aliens and Predator and all that other shit. So
well, yeah, exactly. And then I really like the practical effects of the film, especially the werewolves, man. And they were, of course, they were like on stilts and stuff like that, but they looked amazing, dude. They look great for. I love practical effects, dude. Like, say, fuck this new modern age of Hollywood and all their way they do movies, bro. Fuck, CGI is good when it's needed, man. But now everything's CGI. It's like, I mean, go backwards for once in your evolution, fucking, and do it over again. Like, you see practical effects, man, and it's just it's such a great film, and I love that shit. Like, I'm becoming so retro. It's like I don't even want to watch any newer movies. Like, even this recent movie of The Last Voyage of the Demeter, bro. It was a lot. It was CGI, but you could tell a lot of it was more practical. They used
yeah, and they
dummies.
also did a very good job of hiding a lot of it. So when you use like the darkness to kind of hide it, you're not not relying on it so heavily, it's okay. Like, you can get away with it. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, when you're doing werewolves, it's a little bit different because you're, especially with a bunch of them. So, like Underworld does it well.
Yeah.
But speaking of Jedi, you mentioned the movie How. Dude, I love the concept of How. I love the whole like red eye train thing. But the werewolves sucked ass. They look like trash, and I fucking hate it for that reason. The concept is amazing. They just fucked up with the werewolves, and they relied on CGI, which is a problem. But
Yeah.
just they do need to go back and revisit to practical effects because I mean, if someone gave me a budget, dude, and I'm like, okay, I have to like do a budget, and I'm gonna do a werewolf film. I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna get practical effects. I'm gonna find somebody who does them, and if it costs me most of my budget, I don't care. They're gonna have good werewolves. I don't care. I can have.
Right.
I'll be calling up you guys to act in the film with no acting experience, but I'm gonna have great werewolves.
Oh shit! There you go, bro. Hey, I'll do it, bro. I'll even do it for a very low sum, bro. Shit, I'll even do it for a low. Hell yeah, man! I'll be like, hell
Do it
yeah,
for a
say,
cheeseburger, baby.
yeah, give me some cheeseburgers. Get the cheeseburgers. No, but no, yeah, man. But yeah, but it's again, it was a great film. But let me see if anybody's still here. Let me play that video that nobody saw that we saw earlier. Let me see if I can pull it up again. And then let me see. I knew you were gonna like it though, but let me see. Let's see so everybody can watch it. Bear with me, guys. Give me a second.
It's big fucking red circle 100 meters. I'll tell you something that really puts things in perspective when you
Yeah, man.
Yeah, dude.
There, dude.
I just had to. I have this little niche for finding somewhat the right music for the right tone of the thing, man. It's just I've been doing mini videos for so long. As I had to go this time. I had to go with Ministry. It's like I had to go with Ministry. So
Good choice.
but yeah, man. But yeah, man. But like I said, bro, it was a great freaking. It was a great film. I mean, I can't thank you again for recommending it, man, and and especially joining me on the very first live stream for one-on-one with the King of Sting, the Duke of Destruction, the Sci-Fi Sentry. Is like, nah, man, but it was very fun, bro. Always an honor and a privilege to have you on. I know Neko's, hasn't contacted you yet. Her plane arrival times are.
She was boarding not too long ago, so she should be getting ready to fly out. She said to tell everybody hi.
Oh, cool. Oh yeah, bro. But like I said,
I appreciate you having me on. I am honored that you chose me to be your first love.
Yeah, you're my.
You
first.
and I go back. We met on Samurai's channel, and I knew right away that you were somebody I wanted to do content with, and it's been always a blast hanging with you and doing stuff with you. So I appreciate you taking the time out to hang out with me and do stuff like this, as well as the Sci-Fi Society. Those guys are amazing as well. Love talking shop with them. And yeah, man, I appreciate it. And this was like probably the best film to choose to do a first one-on-one with. So it's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, bro. No. The feeling is absolutely mutual, man. Thank you for the support. You got my support on your channel. You guys have always been ride or die with me, man. The Sci-Fi Society as well. Where there's gonna be guys, everybody who was watching, everybody who showed up, Omni Viewer, Gojira 851, Kevin Lambert from the Entertainment HQ, Jedi Grand Veil, Jake Hall, the Omni Viewer. Thank you all, guys. And remember, I'm gonna have my one-on-one series with each and every one of you guys. Just bear with me as I get through all this other stuff I got going on. I got some more physical therapy coming. It wasn't my plan, but doctor's orders. But besides that, guys, and with you guys, especially with DJ Anubis and Neko, man, it's always fun as hell, bro, doing these streams, man. Thank you again for the helping on my side of StreamYard, and helping me to get my way around using it better, how to be more, let's just say, show offish, when it comes to my openings and especially my intros and everything, man. It's always appreciated. So guys, thank you all for watching DJ Anubis, the Sci-Fi Sentry. This was the first volume 1, round 1 of one-on-one with the Sci-Fi Sentry. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed.
Anubis.
If you guys do, and Anubis.
Victory.
Yep. The Metal Tavern Master wins again. No, guys, but yeah, like I said,
it's a blast.
No, of course, man. So if you guys, anybody who was also watching, you guys like you guys like the content we create, like, share, comment, subscribe, especially subscribe any of the people that watch from my channel, DJ Anubis. He's always got great content, and we're like the Sci-Fi Society and the Metal Tavern, bro. We're all one big family. So I hope you guys have a nice night. We always keep it real, and remember, we got plenty more one-on-one live streams coming, guys. So I hope you guys have a good night. We'll be out. Hold on, don't leave yet, Anubis, and let's get.
Man.
All right, guys. So just wait for ending, and we'll get it done, man. Thank you.
That whole story, like, that's pay-per-view, guys. And you don't get a lot of that stuff.
All right, no,